Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. You man so fine. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. Hey, and you see who I'm with. The man who is responsible for bridging the two families together. My guy, Kyle Yacey. Well, Kyle.
Mr. Sean Spencer, how is it going, sir? How are you surviving this terrible gap of no football? How are you doing?
Oh, my God. It has been heart-wrenching, man. I'm telling you. Look, you got hockey, okay? So you can get into that. I try to get into a little baseball. It doesn't work. Basketball's not my thing. I need it back, man.
Not trying to take shots at any baseball fans here, but yeah, no, it's not my cup of tea. But you know, if the team's doing good in Canada, the only team we have, the Toronto Blue Jays, then you know, I'll give it a watch. But other than that, not my cup of tea.
No. Yeah, I'm an Orioles fan, but unless I'm at a game, it's really kind of hard to pay attention to and follow and all that. And I've actually heard that they're trying to shorten the games, and I'm like, still no.
Yeah, no. Like that's why PVRs were made, man. You can just record it and just fast forward through it.
Exactly.
But we're going to talk football, right?
Yeah, right. But actually, real quick, I did want to ask this. As from one engaged individual to another, my friend, how has that life been for you? How's the missus? How's the young one?
Oh, everything's good. Everything's really good. It's very busy. We did a lot in a small span of time. We got the venue booked and paid for. We figured out the date, figured out the wedding party. Like everything for the most part is organized that we can organize right now at the very least. Photographer paid for and stuff. So now more so we have to wait till we get a little bit closer to the date, send out the invitations, figure out how much we're going to put down for food, all the stuff that's going to be annoying.
Oh yes. Yeah. But hey, get it done. Enjoy the day and go off into the distance. Let her know.
My fiance, man, honestly, she is putting so much work into this wedding already. Like endless hours, and like she's thrilled to do it because I don't know how, because honestly I wouldn't be able to. Like to me, I'm like, whatever, just do it. I don't care.
Go, right.
Make sure I have good food, make sure I have good alcohol, and I want to pick the DJ. After that, it's all you, babe. It's all you.
Right, exactly. And just tell me where I need to show up, and I'm good.
Exactly. I'll make sure I'm there that day. I promise you. And what day was it on again?
Right. Yes. And look, hey, do it quickly, okay? Because she needs to
it's less than a year now.
Yeah, make sure you lock her down, because once she sees the type of Falcons fan that you're going to be, especially this year, ladies and gentlemen.
Your fiance still stayed with you after you were a Redskins fan, so I don't know.
Look. There have been some dark days,
are you the
friend.
Commanders? Or wait, I don't even know what you are right now.
I'm not calling us anything. See, it's just a W right there. It's just a W. I'm not calling it anything until we see the new owners and get all that stuff going. Okay?
Do we say the left hand up now, or is it the right hand, or is it just all hands down right now at this moment? I'm just curious. Asking for a friend, but.
Hold up, Kyle. We're here to talk about the Falcons. It's not about the team that doesn't have a name, all right?
Fair.
Yo, and ladies and gentlemen, my guy, Kyle Yacey, you see, when him and I get on camera, man.
Love it, man.
All bets are off, man. Let's get it going.
Love it.
But look, you know why we're here, man. You absolutely know why we're here. We have to talk about your Atlanta Falcons. Unfortunately, they finished 7-10 last year. However, they have not been quiet this offseason. We'll talk about the offseason in a whole, but we got to start with what everybody wants to start with. Atlanta Falcons did big things in the draft. Started with Bijan. Talk to me about the draft in a whole, but I mean, I know you want to talk about your boy.
No, absolutely. The draft as a whole, going into the draft, I thought it was a little bit questionable that we went running back right off the bat.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to take away from Bijan Robinson. We'll talk about him in a minute, but Atlanta was in desperate need to bolster up the defensive line. It was definitely one of our key weaknesses. There's a lot more on that team in terms of holes, right? But for sure, like I think with the amount of defensive talent that we had early on in that draft, whether it be Tyree Wilson, I'm trying to think of everybody in the draft now. Who else was a defensive lineman?
Harrison. You guys had Harrison in there.
Yeah, no Harrison. Jalen Carter being available as well at that moment. Miles Murphy, that's who I'm thinking of. Or Miles Murphy. I think either, three of those players would have been key to have, especially them all being available at the 8th. Actually, I think Tyree Wilson was taken a little bit earlier, but from what I hear, they have their sights set on Bijan Robinson. And, it is what it is. The rest of the draft wasn't too bad, though. Like, we went a couple defensive linemen. We did bolster up the defensive line. We also got an edge, which is also really good. A safety and a cornerback that got an A-graded value, especially being taken in I got to remember now, the 4th round.
The 4th round, yeah.
Yeah, where he was posed to be taken early 3rd, late 2nd is pretty spectacular. So overall, I'm pretty satisfied with it. I can't say I hate it that much.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me bring it up real quick because one of those guys that you were talking about is definitely somebody that was on my board. As you said, first pick, 8th overall, you get Bijan Robinson, which was a big move. But then you go O-line, Matthew Bergeron, actually, who, if I'm not mistaken, is from Canada.
He is, from Quebec. That's correct.
Oh yeah. So great size out of Oregon. Definitely a steal there. Then you went defense straight with Zach Harrison, Clark Phillips, who you were just talking about. I wanted him. He was somebody that I thought was going to get picked in the first 3 rounds. The fact that you guys got him the 4th round, 113th overall pick, that to me. And let me just stick right here for a second.
Sure.
You've been one to tell me about AJ Terrell. You've been one to tell me about who's your other corner? Was it Hayward?
Yeah, Casey Hayward. Yeah.
Casey Hayward. Then you guys still made moves this offseason and now focusing, getting 2 defensive backs. I mean, you guys seem to be really kind of, in a straight direction. Focus on that defense, focus on corners and safeties. I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, y'all think you're better because of that? Or
I think it's a combination, in my opinion, Sean. Having, hopefully Clark Phillips be that, second parent to AJ Terrell and just keeping it there. I think that's a good, stepping stone, you could say, for sure for now. I think with right now, with all the things that have been happening with the Falcons, I think the biggest thing is we need to have people in their positions and we need to keep them there for more than a year, right? It can't be so much of a turn gate where we're having players just come in and go out. We need to build that chemistry. We have a very new team now, right? The team that we had from the Matt Ryan era, like they're pretty much gone at this point, right? So I like it. I like it a lot. I'm hoping he balls out. I'm hoping he is that pairing with AJ Terrell, and I just hope we keep on building on that. To be quite honest with you, our division is very much open right now. It's been a lot of changes going on right now with them. With the Panthers getting a new quarterback, making some huge wide receiver changes. The New Orleans Saints getting a brand new quarterback, a new face, right? Somebody they can rely on, as well as signing a really, really deep and, balling out running back. I think that's huge. And Tampa Bay going through a complete rebuild and seeing what pieces they want to keep. It's very much a division that's wide open right now at this moment. So it's exciting to watch for sure.
Absolutely. And then finishing out, you got it. Like I said, another D-back and then another lineman. Break it down for me. Overall, how do you think you did? Obviously, Bijan helps whatever grade you're going to give. But overall, how do you think you did as far as the needs and what you were able to acquire?
I'll be realistic here. Me being a biased Atlanta fan, I'm not going to just go and give them an A. I'm going to give it a B+ personally. Okay. That's kind of where I want to keep them at. Bijan Robinson, again, I'm really happy we picked him. He's very likely could be a generational running back for sure. Yeah. He's being compared to LaDainian Tomlinson. So I think that's a huge comparison to make, especially this early. on
Absolutely.
most people or most critics draft analysis, he is the best prospect picked right now. So, it's just a matter like what you were saying earlier on. Can he live up to the hype, right? He's versatile. He's 5'11", 215 pounds. Like the guy's he's gonna ball out. The only thing that I worry about is I just hope it's not another Saquon Barkley and Dalvin Cook scenario where he gets injured. I don't want to throw too much on him. I don't want to get blindsided from the fact that, we got this guy that's absolutely a monster, but let's not take away from giving carries to Tyler Algier, right? Tyler Algier definitely proved himself last season. Let's make sure we split it up and we don't put too much pressure on one guy. And I worry about that with, Arthur Smith being at the helm, considering he is more so a running coach. But we'll have to see. Like, I can pretty much guarantee that, if the same kind of situation happens last year where Marcus Mariota didn't really throw and it's another running situation, I think Arthur Smith will be on his way out before the end of the season.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, and I think that is realistic, man. And considering, that yes, some of the court teams in your division made QB moves, but still, it's like you said, it's wide open. It's up in the air for you guys. And not just because of the things that the draft, but because of everything else. Let's talk about the off season, because y'all were making moves far before the draft even happened, man. So, I mean, how do you feel about Atlanta's off season thus far?
Honestly, I preferred the offseason more than I preferred the draft. Like, don't get me wrong, like going back to Bijan Robinson, I really liked him. But what we did in the offseason is we really addressed some holes, and that's where I really liked it. Signing Caden Ellis, David Onyemata, and Jesse Bates and Calais Campbell, like huge names, especially for the defensive line. Calais Campbell being paired with Grady Jarrett is really going to take some pressure off. So, like our defensive line has some, they have some bulk now at this point, right? So I really like that. Caden Ellis and David Onyemata, paired with, I believe our assistant coach, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but coming from New Orleans Saints, they're familiar with him, right? Like he knows how they work. So I'm really thinking that he's going to gel already without those guys. He's bringing in his boys. So I think that's going to help. And, arguably one of the biggest signings in the offseason, Jesse Bates as a safety. We had issues where we got torched from these long throws, right? So having Jesse Bates, who's proven himself in that position, I think that's going to be huge for sure. So, our defensive line is looking a lot better. The signing of Jonnu Smith, I didn't really like it, in my opinion. I think considering, we really haven't got the chance to explore what Kyle Pitts can do, considerably him not having a quarterback that can throw, and I think it's untouched talent at this point.
Yeah.
So bringing in Jonnu Smith, I get it. You want to add depth to the tight end group, but at the same time, what are you saying about your, the number 4th overall pick? Kyle Pitts, right? Do you not trust him? Are you trying to challenge him? Are you trying to let a fire under him? I'm not entirely sure how that works. So, and then Mac Hollins, a wide receiver, he was good in Vegas too. So we need wide receivers, especially with us signing Drake London. We didn't really have a 1B. So not totally shocking that we went that way. And then last but not least, Taylor Heinicke, which I think was a great signing too.
Yeah.
Desmond Ridder, there's been a lot of uncertainty with him. Regardless of if we haven't seen him for a full season, we don't know what he can do. In the locker room, people are saying he's a natural born leader, which I think is awesome to see. So, him being young, I don't see him being any worse than Marcus Mariota, in my opinion. He's already been shown to be mobile. So, what he did in Cincinnati, I think, was huge. He definitely connected with his wide receivers a lot of the time, and he wasn't scared to throw the ball. So I just hope that translates this season. So, and then if not, we do have Taylor Heinicke, who's been in the league for a while. So if it doesn't work out, it's not like we're completely, out of it yet, right? So
yeah. And look, Taylor, I've talked to you firsthand about how Taylor is and how he makes me pull the little bit of hair that I have out of my head at times. Yep. But he'll give you 7. He'll give you about 7 to 8 wins. He's done it for us the last couple of years, and he's a gamer. He's one of those that you want him to show up, and the guys seem to gravitate towards him. So I do like that, because I do think that lights a fire in that quarterback room, because Taylor can get the job done. And with you guys right now, with that running game, with the three-headed monster, and the weapons at wide receiver, you just might need that somebody to get it done.
Are we talking 3 though, or are we talking 4? Like that's the thing. Are we talking 3 or 4? Because right now, if you look at it, we got Drake London, we got Tyler Algier, we still got Cordero Patterson,
right?
We got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, right? I'm not sure. I probably said one of them twice, but regardless, we're maybe like another solid wide receiver away.
I agree.
From being absolutely unstoppable. And
D Hop is available.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go that route. I think for the amount that we'd have to sign him for once he does, if he does want to stay on the team,
which you'd have to give up.
It's gonna hurt a little bit. I already think we kind of overpaid on some players in the offseason, considering the amount of cap we had. But I will say I really like the direction that the Falcons did go in the offseason. There's 2 ways you can go when you're going through a retool or a rebuild, essentially. And this is the way I view it. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Sean. But the way I look at it is either you sign a quarterback and you build around him, or you build the team and then plug in a quarterback. And preferably, I like it the second way. And that's the way that the Falcons went. Is they have a lot of pieces right now that are going to be on the team for a while. We have a very young team. And the thing is if Desmond Ridder doesn't work out, it's literally just going to take a quarterback. And that's it.
Exactly. Yep. No, you're exactly right. And there's a lot of teams that are in that situation. You look at Washington with us, Pittsburgh with a young quarterback. You got teams that are just like us that we're not building. Your quarterback can get it done, but we're building around him.
Absolutely.
And we're putting pieces in. That's why I think the Jonnu Smith move is going to help Pitts, because he's going to have that veteran leadership that's been in New England. So he's been around Belichick, been around greats, and he's been around the league. So he could potentially come in here. And maybe he's just like what Jacoby Brissett is for Sam Howell. Maybe he is for Kyle Pitts, that fire that tells him the little bits of things. This is why you're not separating. Maybe, this is how you make the quarterback that might not be the best, you make him look better. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think the tough part, and I don't want to go and, kick down a broken horse, as they say, right? But I don't think we've seen his talent. It's really tough. Like we saw his first year with a depleted Matt Ryan, right? Matt Ryan was at the end of his tenure in the Falcons. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take anything away from Matt Ryan. He had unbelievable passing yards. But towards the last couple of years, especially after that Super Bowl lump that we lost, right? He wasn't the same. That's just the reality of it, right? So he was on the decline. And then we had Marcus Mariota for his second year, where Marcus Mariota had one of the worst passer ratings in the NFL last season, right? He was great mobile, don't get me wrong. There was a couple throws, but for the most part, he didn't throw the ball. He handed it off.
Yeah.
So, you know what? In my opinion, I agree with you. I don't think having that veteran, that veteranship would hurt per se. But I'd almost want to see what he's going to do with just having a younger quarterback and seeing if he's going to be able to connect with those catches. Because it wasn't like a scenario where he dropped catches, right?
Right.
Even looking at Drake London, when he did throw the ball to Drake London, right, he had those catches. Like Drake London still made those touchdowns. Yeah. He was one of the few players that, Marcus Mariota didn't throw to. But I just didn't see a lot of targets with Kyle Smith. So, yeah, I'm really hoping that there is a change. I'm hoping that maybe that is what needs to happen is Jonnu Smith needs to come in and kind of light the fire into Kyle Pitts, right? To be like, hey, man, listen, this is your third year. Like, better bust out, because if not, then they're going to look at trading you, right? Like, but it's tough. I don't know how to feel about him. I still have faith. I think he was given that name for a reason, right? Being a unicorn, and he did very well for the Florida Gators. So I'm not giving up on him yet.
Yeah, no, and look, I hate to talk about him and his lack of production, because we know it's the quarterback. It's always been
probably too.
That, and I'm glad you said that, because I also think he is somebody he's a Kelsey, or he has potential to be a Kelsey or George Kittle. But you got to put the offense around him. You got to force feed him the ball, especially before this year when you didn't have much else outside of just Pitts and London. You got to force feed him. Get him the touches he needs.
I'll be honest with you. I think that Terry Fontenot is the right GM. I think he needs to stay where he's at. I think he's doing unbelievable moves. I do not think that Arthur Smith is the right coach in Atlanta. I think I think for what Atlanta is doing and the identity that they want to become, I think they need to move away from Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith had unbelievable weapons in Tennessee. He had a complete team. And all things considered, they went to the playoffs a lot. They had contention, but they never won that Super Bowl, right? They couldn't get over that hump. And the thing is, us even getting Bijan Robinson, like we're not talking about the same caliber as of right now as Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry was the top running back for years now. Years. Yeah. You had AJ Brown, right? AJ Brown was there too. And then I can't remember the other wide receivers that were on Tennessee, but regardless, I know they had an unstoppable defensive line. Their offensive line was also above mid-class as well. So realistically, what was it, right? You handing the ball off from Ryan Tannehill to Derrick Henry, you think that's going to do it? No, it's not. And the thing is I think he's keeping that mentality that he had in Tennessee, thinking that it's going to work here, and it's not. It's not. No. That's not who we've been. We've been the Dirty Birds. We're known for throwing those deep balls. We're known for having a decent running game, but not the best running game, And that's the thing is, if you're not fitting to that scheme, don't keep him longer than you need to keep him. Yes, exactly what I'm saying. I think we're on the same page. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Now he did. This is very interesting. He said it works both ways, though. Kyle Pitts needs to demand the ball more as well. I agree. Because he is that type of player, and I'm not saying go T.O. and all these bougie receivers, give me the ball. Yeah. But he does need to open his mouth and be like, look, give me the ball, or give me a quarterback, or give me a coach, give me something, because it's just wasted talent. He's so good.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. There's a fine line between being cocky and being heard, right? You can go in there with confidence. That doesn't necessarily mean you're cocky. It just means, you're going in there, you're trying to prove something, right? You want to know that you care for the game. You're in it, right? You want what's best for the team. You want to show your talent, right? We're not talking about an Antonio Brown situation here where he's going out saying, I'm the best, screw everybody else.
Right.
Hit my feet, right? Rip my jersey off. I don't care. I got these rings to show for it. It doesn't matter. Let's go. It doesn't matter. No, it's not like that. No. But your voice isn't going to be heard unless you speak, right? Speak up. Absolutely. That's a very accurate comment actually from Ben.
And it is funny. I mean, to that point, I was watching one of those, Race Across Alaska, Race Across America, those survival shows. And one of the guys on there was saying, he said, it's not that we're cocky, it's that we prepare for this our entire lives. Pitts has been that guy through high school to college and at Florida. Let him be that guy here. He's ready for it. Give him that opportunity. So we'll definitely see. We will definitely see. Thank you for sharing. I think is that Scott Taylor here?
No, nice.
Yes, Scott Taylor. Yeah. What is going on, guys? What is going on? Look, let's go. Let's go right into it. 2023 is here. The schedule is out. That. I'm gonna bring it up right now. Let's see. The 2023 schedule starting. Woo!
With
Carolina first at home. You talked about they have Bryce Young. They have a new coach.
Well, is he starting though? I thought he wasn't starting.
See, that's the other thing. Because if he's not starting, my pick changes. I don't know if it changes because I still want to see him play in the NFL. Because I didn't realize how small he was until those pictures surfaced.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? He's like another Kyler Murray.
Yeah, he's small. And I'm wondering how that plays in. But what do you think? Even if he starts, let's say he starts week 1 because new coach, they need to get some excitement back in Carolina, and it's a divisional opponent. Do you think you guys could pull that victory out?
I do. I think it's a win for Atlanta, to be honest with you. The weird thing about Atlanta, especially at the beginning of the season and the last 3 years, is they have a tendency to throw, well, not necessarily throw, but have close matches in the first couple of weeks and just lose it out, right? Mm-hmm. But I think right now, Desmond Ridder is definitely going to have something to prove. He's going to show up. He's going to want to ball out and say, hey, you know what? I deserve this starting job, right? Carolina, I still think is trying to figure out their identity. Them losing DJ Moore is huge. Losing CMC as well. They're very much in, where where's the talent right now? Like, where are we going to focus more on the passing game? Are we going to focus more on the running game? Are we going to try and give more handoffs to, oh my God, I can't remember his name now. The Canadian.
Who? Chuba?
Chuba Hubbard, yeah. Or,
Chuba.
Is Adam Thielen going to make a difference right now in Carolina, right? I don't know. It's tough. I still think Atlanta runs away with the W on this one, though. I do.
I can dig it. Yeah, I think Carolina's going to be come in towards the end of the season and start to click and everything. I think they're still going to be too fresh and too new and green. I don't think they get the dub. I think you guys got it. And then you stay home in week 2 and play Aaron Rodgers-less Green Bay Packers led by Jordan Love. I think
it's a W. Straight
Another
through.
dub?
W. Absolutely. Jordan Love, he has been showing the ball. This will be his first full season, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, them losing Devontae Adams as well, right? All they really have on that line is what? Aaron Jones and Christian, right? What's his name? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the wide receiver.
Who? Watson.
Yeah, Christian Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Not much, to be quite honest with you. I wouldn't bank on it. I think Atlanta runs away with the W on that one. What do you think?
I'm sorry. I agree with you. I completely agree. I think it might be a little bit closer because I'm not out on Green Bay, but I do think that Jordan Love is going to have growing pains as well. And I think Atlanta's going to start off 2-0. 2-0. And then my birthday weekend, you go to Detroit. And I'm going to tell you something. I went on my birthday weekend to Detroit last year, and it was 22-0 at the half. So, what are you thinking, man?
Well, we've done well with Detroit, but the thing is Detroit has gotten better, right?
Yeah.
So I think in this particular scenario, I think this will be a closer game than people will realize, but I do think Atlanta loses against Detroit.
Yeah, that's what I got. So 2-1,
and
then they come home and play another dominant team. Jacksonville.
No, this is in London. This is in London.
Ooh,
this is a London game, Jacksonville.
Oh, that might change some things up, man. Now it's going to be that offense. Your old receiver, Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence, all those guys against that new defense that y'all been building up, man. And this is when it shows out, man. You're 2-1, and you go to London. What do you think?
That's a tough one, honestly. Jacksonville is doing all the right things right now. Them seeing Calvin Ridley, I was really upset to lose. Like, I understand why it happened, but I loved him in Atlanta. He was actually I think I saw one of his last games, I believe, when I went to Atlanta. So it's crazy. I hope good things for him. I think, we got to talk about, Trevor Lawrence now being in the league for as long as he has. And, he's ran through his growing pains. He's wrestled through a struggling rebuilding Jacksonville, and they've done wonders for their defense. I think Atlanta loses the game. I think it's 2-2.
Yeah. I think, and I don't think that's much that Jacksonville is better. I think you're both upstart, but I think that the fact that it's at 9:30, the fact that it's in London, over the pond, if you will, I think that's gonna play a factor in it. And I agree. I think Jacksonville gets it done, but then you come home the week after to play a team that is in the same division that is trying to make moves in the right direction, but I don't think they're there yet.
No.
Houston, what do you think, man?
I think it's a W for Atlanta in this scenario. I think they beat Houston. Houston, again, like you said, they're rebuilding right now. They're making some moves. They signed their quarterback, right? They also signed what's his name? That edge rusher. Oh my God.
Will Anderson Jr. Yep.
Yeah, there you go, from Alabama, right? So they're starting to make moves in that scenario, but I still think that the chemistry is going to need a little bit more time to develop. Them also losing Brandon Cooks as well, going to Dallas is a big one too, right? I think it's a bigger loss than people realize, considering the amount of passing yards that he got, right? So, no, I think Atlanta walks away with a W in this one.
Oh, absolutely. I'm with you on that. So that makes you guys 3-2.
Yeah.
Then October 15th.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm gonna be realistic with you.
Name again? What is it? I just want to make sure. Who's your owner? What's your team name?
Washington will beat you. You don't need to know the team name, all right?
Do you have Chase Young? I'm not sure.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest. Last year, we beat you guys in a close one, and we beat Chicago in a close one. I think we take L's to both of you guys. I think it's going to be close, and I think it's going to be flipped. Number one for me, if Heinicke gets in the game, you're definitely going to win. Because Heinicke is he's gonna want to show out his old team. But I think that we talk about these young teams early in the year. We're gonna have I believe Denver early in the year. I think we got Philly early in the year. So we've got some tough matchups, and I think this is gonna be one that it's in the Georgia Dome. I think you guys take the win.
Okay, so we're at 4-2 right now.
Yep.
Okay, so Tampa Bay, this in particular Tampa Bay game, I think we win. I do think it's a W, and I think this will be 5-2 at this point.
Okay.
Tampa Bay, they lost some key players. They lost Fournette. They lost Tom Brady, and whether people want to admit it or not, the Tom Brady full hangover is starting right now. It's gonna start right now.
Exactly.
Not taking away from their explosive offensive line. Still having Mike Evans, still having, oh my God. What's Chris Godwin?
Godwin, yeah.
And then potentially Julio Jones, who we can say what he is at this point, right? But regardless, is it going to be Kyle Trask or is it going to be Baker Mayfield? It seems like they like Baker Mayfield, but Baker Mayfield has been known to still have year after year growing pains.
Yeah. Didn't y'all play Baker last year and whoop him when he was at Carolina?
Because Baker played for Carolina?
Yeah.
Did we? Well, was that the game we won for a kick, or was it the game we lost? I can't remember now. No, I don't think he was in the game. So I think it was PJ Walker for both games.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah,
old PJ.
Yep. What do you think?
I gotta win with you.
Win?
Yeah, I agree. Okay. I definitely think I'm not. Even though we are surrounded by Tampa Bay fans, I'm not sold on them at all.
No, me neither, man. No. If anything, if it's not our division, I could easily see Carolina or New Orleans taking that top spot. It wouldn't shock me. Now, Tennessee. Tennessee's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'd honestly flip a coin in this scenario just because Arthur Smith does know how they work. And maybe Tennessee uses that to their advantage as well, knowing that Arthur Smith is a coach and he has a certain coaching style. Ryan Tannehill is very unpredictable, whether he has good games and bad games. Derrick Henry could be the key difference maker here. I'm going to give the Falcons an L here.
You're going to give them an L?
And I think it's close. I think it's close.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with that same narrative, and I'm gonna give them the W. I think it is close. Yeah, I think it's close, but I think that you can't rely on Tannehill, like you said, like we're talking about. He's iffy, and I think he's not going to do well in this one. And Derek is coming towards the end of his career, and I got to give you guys the win.
Okay, so you're saying 6-2. I'm saying 5-3. Then, as of right now, so I'm keeping track of this. Okay. All right, so Minnesota, I'm going to just go straight with it. I think it's an L.
You think it's an L with Minnesota?
Yes. I think it's an L. I think, the fact of what they have in Minnesota with Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, a defensive line who they're still working on right now. Whether if Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy, is he even still there right now? I don't even know what's going on with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota.
Right.
But no, I don't think we're going to beat Minnesota. I actually think Minnesota's going to have a really good year this year.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I got an L here too. Although I did hear right before getting on here, I did read an article that said that Dalvin Cook could potentially be moved. I don't know how legitimate that article was, but right now with Dalvin on the team, they got Jordan Addison from USC in the draft. Yeah, with Kirk Cousins throwing, I think this is around the time that Kirk does good. So yeah, I'm giving them the win. I'm giving Minnesota the win.
Absolutely. Now, a difference of a little bit of a change of pace here is for Arizona. I think this is a W for Atlanta. I think Arizona, unfortunately, and Chris Werschuk wouldn't shy away from this, is posed right now to finish bottom of the division right now.
Yeah.
Them letting D-Hop walk was a very stupid move. They should have tried to do something there. I'm sure there's more behind the story, and I'm sure Chris has already touched this many, many times for many different reasons of why D-Hop walked.
Yeah.
I just think to put it nicely, they're just rebuilding right now, and I don't think Arizona walks away with a W. I think it's a win for Atlanta. So going into the bye week, I see us being 6-4.
Yeah, I got a win with you guys as well. So what is that? 7-3 for me.
Yep.
Yeah, I got 7-3, and then to get a bye week at week 11, like almost dead spot in the middle. How do you feel about that? I mean, I love that.
Yeah, I like it. It's not a bad spot.
Yeah.
So I think right now, that's pretty good. It could be worse. It could be, later on in the season. That's the last thing I would want. No, that's about the time I'd want it. I agree. Hopefully we have no injuries at this point. So I think up to this point too, I will say I think we mostly see Desmond Ridder. I don't think I think he's doing good at that point. I do think Taylor Heinicke probably maybe played 1 or 2 games potentially, but I think it's mostly Desmond Ridder at this point.
Yeah, if Taylor Heinicke has any say or can have any kind of pull towards in that Washington, he's going to try to get into that Washington game.
Oh yeah, I see him playing in Washington like that game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that'd be smart too. That'd be a little bit intimidating, especially playing Washington.
Exactly.
Seeing your ghosts, right? Like I would have.
Right. And see, our fans are still very much into him, so it's not like 6-4. Okay. Yeah, our fans are very much into him, so it's not like there's any hatred or animosity towards it. There's some of our fans that wish he was still in Washington, so it's gonna be a mixed bag, mixed review when he comes back. But I know we're gonna like him. All right.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get going now. So New Orleans after the bye, this is where we're gonna start to see a little bit more else here. So New Orleans, I think, is going to be a loss, especially in this game. I think New Orleans by this point is probably having a decent season so far.
Yep.
Not going through their schedule. I'd have to go and pick it apart, which we can do on LTF one day, and we should do soon.
Yes.
But I think that New Orleans is very much on the rise. They've had some rough couple years with some changes and stuff. But at the same time, maybe I'm playing devil's advocate with myself. I could see also them losing. Their running back, not Taysom.
Kamara. Yeah.
Kamara didn't he go and he's missing like a whole bunch of games or something like that too?
Well, it's supposed to be. I don't know if it's official that he's going to, but I know he's under investigation.
Yeah. So Kamara, I think this is also his last year. I think this is actually Alvin Kamara's last year, and I think it's also Michael Thomas's last year.
Yep.
I think we're losing both of them. So I do think that New Orleans is going to have a really good year this year. Them having Chris Olave, very, very explosive. Jameson Williams, correct? Right?
Yeah.
Is who they signed.
No. Williams is for Detroit. Who did they sign?
Gotta look it up now. I can't remember.
Right up.
The Saints. It's the last thing that I want to pay attention to.
I know.
Sorry, whoever's watching. Love you. Where
Thomas?
Okay, transactions. Let's see. So we got.
I'm not seeing anybody new.
I know it is. I know for a fact. Where is he?
Shaheed. Nicole likes to tell us about that guy.
He's not bad. He's from Detroit. Yeah, Jamal Williams. My bad.
Oh, Williams. Yes. Oh man, how did I forget about that guy?
Jamal Williams. There we go. So he did great. So I think he'll be a good substitute for sure, right? As long as he stays healthy. So
yeah. I still got you guys. I got them winning this one.
Yep.
But later on, I think I split it because you guys played in the last week.
Me too. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. That's where I'm at with it. So then I think we're going to go into New York, and I think this is also going to be a loss. I think New York's going to have a hell of a year. Even Aaron Rodgers at half capacity is going to improve any of the quarterbacks that they've had for the last few years. So, Joe Flacco being out of it, Zach Wilson, Zach White.
Zach Wilson, Mike White. White.
That's it. Zach Wilson, Mike White. Aaron Rodgers, no matter which way you look at it, is going to be an improvement. Regardless, Tom Brady having more rings, I do think that Aaron Rodgers hasn't always been a better quarterback.
For sure. Talent. Yep, absolutely.
So, as long as he stays healthy, the New York Jets have all the makings right now to make a Super Bowl run, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think this is a game. Honestly, I think this is a game that they're going to need, especially in that AFC East. And I think at least 3 teams there, I think, is making the playoffs this year. So I think they get the W. It's in New York in December. Yeah, I think they get a W in this one, man.
Yep, I think so too. So going forward, Tampa Bay. I think this is where we sweep. This is the year we sweep Tampa Bay.
Ooh,
I think we're over 500 at this point. I'm not gonna go in and backtrack or anything. It's the same reasons. I don't think Tampa Bay has that identity yet. I think we're gonna win against Tampa Bay straight through the season. So that'll put us then at 7-6.
Yeah, I got you with Tampa Bay. So am I 8-5 now?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So now for Carolina, I think this is where Bryce Young starts the ball out.
Yeah,
and I think that Carolina absolutely, and I'm not even going to try and sugarcoat. I think they wreck us this game. It's just a destroyal. So I'm going to go back to 500 right here, and we are going then at what is that? 7-7.
Yep. 7-7.
I got them.
I got them getting the dub, so I got you at 8-6.
Yep, 7-7. So now going to Indy. Indy, I think this is a win. I think Indy is stepping in the right direction. They have their quarterback now with Anthony Richardson, who hopefully is going to work out for them. And I think, with just where the Falcons are and the fact that it'll be desperation point at this point to try and see if we're going to win the division. I think Falcons pull ahead and they go 8-7.
Ooh, okay. I want to give Anthony Richardson some love. I don't want to give the team some love because Irsay has been their owner has been the main reason why Washington can't get our owners in there because he ain't with it. But I want Richardson to do well. I love Jonathan Taylor, but I got you guys. I got Falcons winning this one, man. I don't think they're ready yet.
Yep. I definitely agree. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a spoiler here. I have us winning the last 2 games. That's our ceiling, I think, is 10-7 right now.
Okay.
I think we've done good with Chicago. I don't think it's going to be a easy game, though, with Chicago. I'll be completely honest with you. I think it's going to be a nail-biter. We were able to pull it off with Chicago last year. Chicago, it's a different team this year. They've made some moves for sure, right? They've definitely helped out Justin Fields. I think we can pull away, we can clinch this out, and we'll go 9-7.
I can see it. 10-7.
Yep. Now New Orleans. The reason why I think we go 10-7 is I think that depending on where New Orleans is at this moment, whether they are competing for a spot or if they're out of the picture, I think this will determine what this game is going to be.
Yeah.
If New Orleans has that big lead and they're ahead, they might not want to win this game. They might want to rest some players, and this might be a lucky Falcons win where we can clinch in and get a wild card spot right here. So I do think that I'm going to err on the side that we're going to end up splitting New Orleans, and I think we go 10-7. That's our ceiling.
Yeah, I got you at 10-7 too. I have you losing to Chicago. I'm very high on them, and I think Justin Fields has a breakout year. But I think that New Orleans game, that's going to be a game that I think you guys will need to win it to stay alive or get in the tournament and get help. So I think that you guys get that dub. I think 10-7 as well, and wild card playoffs. I'm 100% agree with.
Yeah, I think so. It's obviously dependent on how the rest of the division is going to do, right? And not even just our division, just the rest of the NFC in total. It's really tough to, especially with going to your division, right? The East, Sean. Just seeing what's going to happen there. Is it going to be Philly's year again where they're going to ball out? Personally, I don't think so. But I still think they're going to have a really good year. I don't know if they'll make it back to the Super Bowl. It doesn't happen that often, but there's going to be some teams that are going to be staying in track with that wild card spot. Is Dallas going to win their division, right? Who else do we have there? Who else is in the East right now? Yeah, the Giants. The Giants had a hell of a year last year, and they're looking even better this year. How are they going to do, right? So, it's really tough to see. And then, the Detroit Lions, like what's going to come out of that division? Are we going to have the Vikings? Are they going to do well? Is Chicago going to win that division, right? It's it's going to be a guessing game. I think that the NFC as a whole is going to be a lot more interesting than it was last year.
Yep. Absolutely. I still don't think it holds a candle to the AFC and all those powerful quarterbacks and everything like that. But they're going to be better. They're going to be a lot better. And shout out to my guy, Kyle Yacey, because Kyle, you were the one who said, Philly, they're on this run, but it's going to end.
It never
called it.
It always happens, Sean. It always happens. Like, even if we go and compare what happened with hockey this year and the Boston Bruins having an absolutely insane regular season breaking records.
Yep.
What happened? They got knocked out right away, right?
Yeah.
And it just happens. These teams, they overestimate these other teams that, have these glimpses of like doing unbelievable, right? And it's the same thing in football, right? Football itself, like we had like Jalen Hurts with a very stacked team go against a veteran coach and a quarterback that now is showing glimpses of surpassing potentially Tom Brady right now, right? Like like right now, Patty Mahomes is the guy. He's mobile, he's accurate, and the guy is just all around talented right now. He's unbelievable in the pocket. He's all you want in a quarterback right now. So it's you gotta have pride by all means, right? But you can't overestimate your opponent, and that's exactly what happened with Philly.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, and for anybody that thinks, oh, well, Philly, they got better, they got all this talent, I want you to look 2 years ago to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They returned all 22 starters. They couldn't make it back. Go back to the following year with Aaron Donald and Matt Stafford and how stacked that team was. Yeah. What happened to them last year? Albeit they had injuries and this and that, but it's super hard to be dominant 1 year and then to get it done. But then to repeat the next year with the same dominance and continue it, there's only been a few that's been able to do it. And I agree with you, man. I think they're going to have some growing pains this coming year.
100%. I think especially this year, I have to go through the schedule before I make any kind of Super Bowl predictions because I'm definitely not there yet at this point. Yeah. But I think we're going to see teams emerge that we haven't seen before. I think that the Jets are going to make a run. I think that, maybe this is the Bills' year. This is going to be maybe their do or die year, right? In the AFC. I think Dallas has gotten better, and maybe this will be the year to prove if Dak is the guy or if they're going to move on from Dak and just kind of see what they can do, right? I think Philly will do well. I don't think they're going to make it there, though. It's really tough. The Vikings look really good, too. Is Casey going to go for another run? It's possible. Or is it going to be the Bengals' year?
Right.
I don't know, right? And then Pittsburgh also. They're going and they're building in the right direction too, and Sid's really high on them, so I can't say anything.
Yeah. If you ask Sid, they're gonna almost go undefeated. So,
is that what he's saying this year? Okay.
He said 13-4. I was like, oh, Sid, I can find at least 7 or 8 losses, man. And he was like, oh, tell me 2. Who? I was like, all right, Sid.
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I know how the Pittsburgh Steelers work because I really don't. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. I know that Tomlin is a great coach, right?
Yeah.
And having great coaching goes a long ways, right? But we'll see. It's not Ben Roethlisberger, right? It's now going to be Kenny Pickett. So is he going to be the guy? And the thing is regardless of him being a first overall quarterback. At this present moment, and I'm not saying it's going to stay like this, right? Like, until for years to come, I don't see at this moment any like too big of a difference between Desmond Ridder and Kenny Pickett right now at this moment, right?
Yep.
There hasn't been enough writing on paper to say, oh, one is better than the other. They both got to play a full season. We both have to see how they gel with the weapons that they have. But Pittsburgh's they've got weapons, but they're also in a very tough division. With Baltimore now signing OBJ and, trying to build those weapons around the Ravens, right? And, the Cleveland Browns that, we'll see if now that Deshaun Watson, if he's gotten over that, I call it that hangover from, all the media and everything like that, right?
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, there's a lot of other teams, a lot of other schedules to break down.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure we'll see that over time. Kyle, where people know you from. Talk to the people, man. When are we going to see you again? NFC South takeover and anything else we got going on this offseason?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm definitely on the North Sports Dynasty Friday nights. We talk about everything on there. We talk about betting. We talk about hockey. We talk about football. There's some soccer talk. There's even baseball talk, basketball talk. There's everything on there. It's a fun time. The guys are super energetic, super, open to questions and everything like that. So definitely stop by there and give them a shout out, give them a share, give them a like. And then, obviously me and Sean have done lots here, right? It's, Let's Talk Football, the NFC South takeover. Graciously, Sean, let me try, kind of pilot a show here. So we'll talk a lot about, the NFC South. Where are we going? What's the season going to look like? How do the weeks go? What are some, key players that have been on the other NFC South teams, right? So, gross.
Sorry about that. Sorry. Yeah.
Let's put that away.
I felt like you might not like that.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that. But yeah, we're going to talk about a lot. And, we'll have Nicole Klychuk back. We'll have Andrew Fulbert back. We'll have Ben Cornett stopping in every now and again. Yeah. So, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to talking more with you, Sean.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. You already know. Anytime we can get down, we're definitely going to. And look, right before I let you go, I got to shout you out, Kyle, man. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't know, 2.5 years, maybe 3 years ago, myself and our buddy Anthony Handy were doing an Atlanta Falcons little talk, chopping it up just like here. Yeah. Kyle hopped in the comments, went back and forth with us, reached out to us afterwards, and then reached out to his people. We were able to bring in NFL Edition, North Sports Dynasty, all the different areas. We pay attention and follow you guys. You guys follow us. And it's absolutely been just amazing. So, my guy, I appreciate you. Okay, you always been the one, and whenever we get together, it's a good time, man.
I appreciate it, man. I think it's really important with how much that's going on in the world, and just even seeing how much is going on with politics and how divided people are, right?
Yes.
Keep on building that community, that safe space where if you have your opinion, if you have personal values and stuff, that you're able to express that without harming other people's values, other people's opinions. I think that's really important. And I think that's really not broadcasted nowadays, right? So in a world full of hate, if we can bring some enjoyment in some people's lives and talk about the things that they want to talk about, I think that's really important. So,
hey, couldn't have said it better myself. With that, we're going to go ahead and end on that, man.
Love
Hey,
it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you being here. Ben, Scott, all you guys in the comments. Hey, you know who it is. It's your boy, Sean Spencer, that guy over there, Mr.
Kyle
Oiler.
Yacey.
Yes, sir. Yes. So, hey, we will see you next time. Tonight, I think NFL Edition comes on not too long after. Hit that up. North Sports Dynasty tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard.
Yes. And then after that, Have At It with Ben.
That's right.
Ben Cornett. So definitely tune into those and go ahead and enjoy your evening. Kyle, I appreciate you, my guy. We'll talk soon. Everyone. Yes, sir.